You're here, I'm pleased, I really feel your company. Your style, your smile, your pace mentality. Lord, have mercy on me. I was blind, now I can see what a king's supposed to be.
Excuse me, miss. I was in the waiting room when you gave your testimony. And what I realized is that we have an enemy in common. While you were being called to the office again, I was being put out the only home I've ever known. While you were shaking with anxiety and fear over something no one ever wants to hear, I was shaking in dread. Because we all know what happens to little girls that have no home and no one to claim them. I think our souls passed each other by. See, my soul left me a long time ago in a dingy motel room, ripped away by brutal force. It fled, unable to find its way back home.
Historical people, who would you want in your seat and why?
Wow. I guess because I'm different. You know, I'm not really starstruck. And so it would be hard to really pinpoint anybody in particular. First person that just came to my mind, you know, I mean, if I had an opportunity to cut Denzel, you know, I would.
That's a good one.
I'd do that.
That would be a dope conversation.
Exactly.
How important is diversity in your work, considering you grew up in a bilingual, bicultural home?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's very important. I think at this point, just in society, there's just so much diversity. You know, whether it be in language, whether it be in your upbringing, whether it be in whatever that is. And so I think growing up in a bilingual household as well as really a bicultural, despite the fact that my parents are both of Hispanic descent, but growing up in two different cultures of very traditional values in the home and very different and sometimes similar values, right, outside of the home, but in different ways, right?
Yeah.
And so,
he tests those whom he loves. I pray he continues to love me till my death. I pray he continues testing me and testing me and testing me until I have no questions left. Until I can ingest knowledge and choke on lies and spit out truth with every breath. But you see, until love for what he loves and hate for what he hates is the only thing that's left within my chest. I know that I will constantly fight to love what's right because I was created with a heart that sits slightly to the left. But I'm okay with that. Because I always knew and always know that he knows exactly what is best. You see, he knew that it would only be a matter of time before I would open my eyes and finally realize that I needed to look deep down inside and pull out the divide so that my heart and my mind would collide and learn to work together.
What's going on, my good people, online community? We are back like we never left for another powerful, insightful episode of Ordinary Conversations with Extraordinary People. I believe this gets serious. It's going to be definitely interesting. I feel like I'm going to be the student today on this show. But thank you guys for always tuning in, always following us and enjoying our lives. But without further ado, give her a background. She is an attorney, researcher, and associate professor of information science at University of North Texas. She oversees UNT's prestigious Law Librarianship Program, serving law libraries nationwide for over 20 years. That's amazing. Former librarian at Yale Law School, supporting faculty and students in advanced legal research. And last but not least, she collaborates with computer and data scientists at UNT to to develop AI methods for legal analysis. Online community, in-person family. Let's give a warm welcome to Dr. Sarah Ryan. How you
Thanks.
doing?
I'm great. I'm so glad to be with you, and I'm honored to be invited to your library.
Yes, Michael has been hounding you like, we gotta get my professor on the show. So I was like, hey, let's do it. Say less.
Yeah. So thanks for having me.
No problem. Before we, I like to kick off the show, allowing our guests to kind of walk us through childhood upbringing, things of the sort. I know you have an extensive background. I've studied from the multiple degrees that you have, from the work that you do in this library world and the community. And I think it's an amazing thing. But before we get to all of that, just kind of walk us through, who was Sarah Ryan as a child?
All right. Well, I mean, if you're partaking in this, you were probably a nerd like me. So a nerd. But I grew up in a small town in rural Ohio, about 6,000 people, and we were the biggest town in the county. So farming community. Let's see. School was canceled. Friday of Fair Week, because so many people showed their animals and did other things at the fair. You could take off up to 2 weeks a year to go hunting.
Wow.
Because a lot of people, that's how they got meat for their family for the year. So just a very different, a very different place. And I think like most of us, I had a grandma who was a teacher, an aunt who was a teacher. Like we all had like somebody in our life, right? So for me, I had a grandma who was a teacher and an aunt who was a teacher, a couple aunts who were teachers and great teachers. And they always engaged me. I was a weird kid. I mean, I also think that's a thing too. Like a lot of us who end up in the libraries, I mean, we were just passionate about, all kinds of goofy stuff. My life was a little unusual because my grandparents, the teacher and the farmer, decided to start traveling with the carnival right before I was born. So I grew up in the summers traveling with the carnival. So that colored my outlook on life too, waking up in a different place every week.
Wow.
Working with all kinds of people. My grandma, she didn't really say this, but this is her joke. When she was interviewing somebody to work in one of her food trailers, she'd say, I don't know if I'm allowed to tell this in the library. Well, anyway, she'd say, do you drink? No, Miss Stella, I don't drink. Do you smoke? No, Miss Stella, I don't smoke. And she'd say, well, I don't hire liars.
Wow.
So we had a very colorful group of people all around us. But I mean, it was great. My whole childhood taught me just how unique and beautiful and weird and strange like all humans are.
Yeah.
How we're all seeking and we're all doing and we're all trying to make our way in this world, and many of us are building back from something.
Yeah.
We didn't intend to be, running the tilt-a-whirl, but that's where we're at, and we're rebuilding our lives, or we're hunting for our family, or we're the third grade teacher or whatever. And I just had this really eclectic childhood that brought me here.
Wow. Any siblings?
Well, yes and no. Again, lots of people will resonate. I have more of a family bush than a family tree. So for my mother and father, no, I was an only child. And they had me when they were really young, teenagers. But as they went along amicably and found other people to love, I did get some. I now have 4 half sisters.
Wow.
So picked them up along the way, and so I do have that community back in Ohio. Most of them are still in Ohio.
Wow.
One's up in Minnesota, but mostly still in Ohio.
That's cool. You mentioned how us as humans can, people can see us as different or weird, but for me, I think that's okay to be our unique selves. One thing about purpose is you don't walk into it, you kind of discover it, as you go. And so, very great story and colorful story of how you come up in your upbringing. I think that's amazing. In your family dynamics, how are your relationship with your parents?
My father passed, but with my mom, good. And even better. So, I mean, last year I was diagnosed with breast cancer, and that really, mothers and daughters, fathers and sons, we're all complicated, right?
Yeah.
But She called me and said, when do you need me there? You are the only thing that matters.
Mm.
And she may have always felt that in her heart, but we don't always say that to each other.
Yeah.
You are the only thing that matters. And like that sentence just, it just, whatever problems we'd had, whatever baggage, they all just evaporated at that moment.
Wow.
And we are so close. And it's like, it was always my hope that we would be.
Right.
And that just happened like in that instant.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Definitely can, relate to that when it comes to those you love, those you care about, those who pass away. I think grief and joy can live in the same room at the same time. I was watching the show yesterday, and it was a scene how they were talking about losing a loved one, and they were saying how grief doesn't have to disappear to make room for joy. They can live at the same time, and so I think. Uh, is it easy? Of course not, but I do believe that we can still have joy, we can still have purpose, we can still have the ability to move forward in whatever career path we choose to go forward in. So yeah, I definitely I love that. How was it? So in regards to Ohio, one of my favorite players, LeBron James from
Of course.
Akron.
We're
Yeah.
so proud of him. We're so proud of him.
Yeah.
You can call him the king.
You think?
King James. Oh, of course. Of course. I mean, let's not disrespect.
Of course. Yeah. So yeah, relating to it in that way, it's a lot of stuff that he's done, for the community and being from that area. What were some, I guess, community events and stuff that you were a part of as a child growing up in Ohio?
A bunch of things. And let me just say, like, we're all so proud of LeBron. We're like, yes, that's Ohio. Like, he is the best of us because, like, he never forgot where he came
Yes,
from.
that's
He
important.
always, he gives back wherever he goes. He just like moves somewhere and like makes it better. And we're like, you're welcome. We raised, Ohio raised him and Ohio raised me.
Yeah.
So when I was little, I was a brownie for a while, which is like Girl Scouts. It's like little Girl Scouts. And then let's see, what else did I do? I did more. I mean, we didn't have a lot of money, and there weren't as many activities back then. Like I'm a mom now, and there are so many. It's like, how many activities are your kids in each night? Like back then in rural Ohio, there wasn't really that much. So let's see, I was a brownie, and then like when I was 10, I played softball, and then when I got into high school, I really wanted to play tennis. I was terrible, but I really wanted it, so I did. There was no cuts. So I played tennis for 4 years, and the first 2 years I was the worst in the league. And I decided I didn't want to be the worst in the league anymore. So I started practicing obsessively that summer, like 4 or 5 hours a day.
Wow.
See, LeBron would be proud of me for a second. I was in good shape once. And I became really decent. And then my senior year, I was the captain and everything, and I won more than half of my games, and like, which was good for us. And so that was my joy in high school. My tennis coach still says, "You were the worst player I've ever seen, and you don't know how many people have stuck to tennis when I tell them your story of just how bad you were,
Wow.
how decent, not good, but how decent you got with practice." So those were the activities in childhood. I wanted to join the debate team, but we didn't have one. And so that was the first thing I did when I went to college, was join the debate team. And that was just laying in wait for me. It's the thing I love the most.
Yeah. I guess it would be a great segue. You mentioned the debate team. When you think about debates, it has the ability to effectively communicate and have hard conversations. So leading into that, you have a undergrad in communications. How has that communication background influenced your work as lawyer, librarian, and professor?
I mean, I guess it reminds me that people are at the center of everything. And I mean, that should be so obvious. We're all people.
Yeah.
But I think it can be easy to lose sight of that and get stuck on the paperwork and get stuck on the processes. And communication is just like, who are these people right in front of me? What do they need? I certainly think that makes me a better teacher. to try and figure out like what is these group of people, what are they trying to tell me?
Yeah.
What are they trying to tell me that they need? What are they trying to tell me that they're not getting? What are they trying to tell me about their like aspirations and dreams? And I think it totally refocuses you, that is the number one aspect of every day, of everything you do is the people and what they're trying to tell you.
Yeah, I totally agree. And to add to that, I think another skill that we all should develop is the ability to have great listening skills. Because when you listen, you have the ability to hear what they're not telling you.
That's fair.
Yeah. And so I think also adding that to communication, it helps. And that's helped me a lot too, being in spaces like this or in other areas that I've worked, having that ability to really listen and take in what are they actually saying, like you said, what am I trying to understand from this conversation. So listening, it definitely helps. Because two people talking at the same time, you're not really going to get anywhere with that. And so I think you have to really have a strong skill in having the ability to listen in that way. Staying on this topic, what was desire or the inspiration in going forward in communications? Why did you want to get this specific degree?
Oh my goodness. I mean, when I was young, I had so many aspirations,
Yeah.
right? I wanted to be a diplomat. I mean, because doesn't that just sound like the best job? I'm like, you get to live in like a fancy house somewhere else and like trying to help nations get along. And so that was part of communications, like that I thought I would just learn diplomacy. And I love debate in college. Like that was my extracurricular, and those were some of the same folks who taught the communication classes. So I just wanted to spend more time with them. I don't know. I mean, I had just all these things I wanted to do. I wanted to travel. I wanted to, and so communication just seemed like it might help me do some of those things.
Right.
I didn't have a really well formed plan. I mean, no.
I don't think none of us do.
Right, right.
Yeah, going after certain things, just trying to see what works, see what fits, and hopefully it leads us in the right direction somewhere. Yes, I totally agree. Definitely want to get into, so you have led Law Librarianship Program for more than 20 years.
So the Law Library, I probably sent you that information wrong. I've only led it. This is my 5th year. It's been around for more than 20 years. Yeah, I don't want to take credit. So Yvonne Chandler ran it, and she was just huge in the state of Texas and nationally and internationally. I just got to steal a moment to talk about her.
Go ahead.
She passed in 2020. So Dr. Yvonne Chandler did so many great things, including she realized there wasn't a librarian program in Guam. And so she wrote a grant and like educated a whole generations of librarian in Guam and all the small islands surrounding Guam. Like that's who she was.
Wow.
And she was this amazing mentor. And she came from law firm librarianship. And so this is a great profession. There's great job opportunities. That should be a focus at UNT. And she started that program and ran it. I think she actually ran it. I've been doing some calculations just lately. I think it was over 25 years. So I'm the newcomer.
Gotcha.
I'm the newcomer
that makes
of her
sense.
program.
Wow. Staying on that topic, what has made this program, I guess, so impactful, considering it's been around for so long, you being a part of it for 5 years? What do you think stands out about this program?
I mean, I think there's so many great things. I think in some small way, justice matters to, I mean, almost anyone getting a degree, right? I mean, in debate, we always debated topics that were about justice, right? Whether they were diplomacy or fixing economics so that everybody had a cut of the pie. Like it was all about justice, and I think that just speaks to a lot of people. And so when you tell them law librarians work at the county courthouse, people bring them their eviction notices. You know, people come to law librarians and say, I think I'm going to lose my kids in this hearing. And, the law librarian isn't an attorney, but the law librarian can help you figure out, like, well, what does this paper say? And what does it say you need to bring?
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, right. And was there a form you were supposed to fill out? Or, like, what is it that we can get you in a good place?
Wow.
Yeah, once people know that, they say,
See,
wow, right? And they're like,
That's
I didn't
amazing.
make this up. I just kind of fell into it. But we just do so much good. And we're a profession that not a lot of people know about. And so the job market's actually really good. You know, when I recruit a student and I say, come to my program, I'm going to be able to get them a job.
Wow.
I
That's
know,
awesome.
right?
That's awesome. Yeah, that's awesome. To me, it speaks to impact. It speaks to having the ability to influence people in a way to where this program will definitely put you in a position to, better your career. And like you mentioned, I had no idea that what law librarian, entails. Having an ability to, how can I help you? What does this document say? How can we better help you and your family? I think that's amazing because we all need help in some form or fashion. And so, yeah, that's definitely amazing. In this program, what skills or qualities do students develop during the program that prepare them for careers in law libraries? What do you think are those skills that they need?
Yeah, well, first we really beat them up with the legal research class. I
Mm.
mean, we make them suffer a little bit through legal research,
Yeah.
but they learn how to read a court docket, how to find a court docket. They learn how to find a statute and what they should be looking for, and so they really do become that person who can help people just navigate like all these terms
Wow.
and all these documents, and they become an expert.
Yeah.
We also just go through scenarios and examples of like real people, real patrons. Like, what are they going to be asking you for?
Mm.
How do you help them? How do you help them without practicing law? Because we're not allowed to practice law as
Yeah.
law librarian. I mean, even I still, I told you before we started, I still keep my admission to the Connecticut bar.
You did.
Current. I'm still an attorney there. But while I'm a law librarian, I'm not an attorney. Like, I'm not allowed to practice law, just slip a little law, and I'm not allowed to do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so we really teach them those boundaries too.
Yes,
of
that's
how
important.
I think that's so much of what librarians do. Like, we're in a library right now, and y'all aren't doctors or nurses, but you can help people get health information.
Yeah.
Right? You can
Yeah.
help them even know what kind of doctor they might need
Yeah.
because of the information you have in your library. And that's what law librarians do too. So we teach them the boundaries, we teach them legal research. And then, I mean, they take 12 courses before they graduate. So these are just the law librarianship courses. They do a
Wow.
lot in their other courses too.
Wow. Wow. You mentioned having the ability to help different patrons that come here. We have been doing some trainings here lately. We find ourselves in scenarios. How can we better help? Certain patrons that have certain questions, specific questions, and we've done a few scenarios here recently. It was fun, but it challenged us in a way to where if we find ourselves in these situations with certain patrons, we have the ability to help them. We can lead them to the information. We can lead them to the resources that we have here. Uh, One of them that is very big is our text share database, so we can give people information when it comes to legal documents or things of the sort. And so, yeah, definitely, like I mentioned offset, I've learned so much, working here and what the, library world, entails. It's more than just, checking out a book or sending a fax, whatever the case may be. It's deep. And so it's definitely been very eye-opening for me.
Right?
Yeah.
It's like the community problem solving place.
Yeah.
And it's free. And I mean, and checking out the books is great too. I
Right,
mean, you're
right.
keeping people from being lonely, and you're helping people have book clubs, and you're getting kids hooked on reading
Right.
and all kinds of great things. But also, anybody can walk through that door and ask any question.
Anybody, yes.
And you will try to help them.
Yes.
And that's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
It's the only thing like it.
Yeah. I've had so many cool experiences with patrons that have come through these doors, man, and relationships that I've built with them because they recognize me. I'm always here, smile on my face. How can I help you? How can I guide you through solving problems, like you mentioned, problem solving skills? And so it definitely continues to build that relationship, as people come through here. Because one word that I always use is family. We treat people like family, no matter who they are, no matter what their background is, no matter where they come from. What they can come through these doors, there's something that they may need, like you said, and we're here to help. So
I think that's perfect. I think that's what we teach too. I mean, when you think about family, like we're coming up upon the holidays, your cousin shows up at the door. You gotta let them eat.
yeah,
They gotta come in. They gotta eat. You don't have to like them.
of
You
course.
don't have to have any of the same politics, but they get a plate because they're your cousin. That's what libraries are. Like someone can come in and believe anything, and that's their business.
Yeah.
And a librarian is there to say, yeah, come on in. We're family.
Yeah.
Like, okay, sure. I'll try and help you with that,
Yeah.
even though I maybe don't agree with that.
Exactly. Exactly. Uh, take the time, Dr. Ryan, walk us through a story about a student who went through the program and made a significant contribution to this field of um, the librarianship program. Any stories of students that you've helped to where you look and say, wow, that they've made great contribution to this, you know, industry, and those stories that
Yeah.
you've had.
Yeah, I mean, I can talk about a couple of great newer students we have, but let me talk about one of Yvonne's. This is Dawn Smith, and Dawn Smith is an associate director at the Yale Law Library. And Dawn Smith is from the DFW area,
Mm,
and you know, she she coordinates. She's got like probably the most emotional intelligence and wisdom of anybody you'll ever meet,
mm,
and so she coordinates with all the Yale libraries. And that may not sound like a lot, but I mean, we're talking about materials that no one else in the world has,
yes.
budgets that are huge. I mean, you should think of like Fortune
When it
500
comes,
level,
yeah.
like that kind of level of. And she works across the Yale law libraries when they need to like upgrade the systems that they're going to use to keep track of all their materials. And like just at the law library, it's a little piece of Yale. They have 1 million objects.
Wow.
And so when we talk about the Yale libraries, I mean, next door is the Beinecke, and it has like the first manuscript of Peter Pan.
Whew.
Right. And I mean, like, and so we're talking about millions of objects.
Yeah.
And Dawn is someone that everyone on that campus trusts to have these big conversations about the systems that are going to keep track of those and make them available for people to use, all the back end systems. So Dawn's amazing.
Yeah.
And she's one of our graduates. We have some great recent graduates. When I was coming in the door, we were graduating Juan Fuentes. He's now a foreign and international law librarian at Harvard.
Wow.
One of my students, Adrienne Kellish, who did really cool independent study projects for me, like she wrote a paper on how Native American tribes have implemented the Violence Against Women's Act.
Wow.
Like that's the kind of research that she did.
Wow. That's cool.
So she's out at USC Law School. And
Yes.
we have people everywhere. I mean, the
Wow.
program is big and well known. And again, I can't take credit for that, but
Yes.
Yvonne's work, we're everywhere. We are at Harvard, we are at Yale, we are at USC, and our people are brilliant and doing great things.
Wow. Wow. I love that. Shout out to Yvonne, man, for leading the charge and leading the way, and also you being a part of it and helping these students as well, man. I think that's amazing. Having impact, having, being a positive influence in these students' life and help them better their careers. So yeah, I think that's amazing. We talked offset earlier. You was mentioning how you still, are part of being an attorney, but not really, practicing it. And so, with that being said, in regards to how you've helped, these veterans, did you always have an interest in veterans advocacy, or did this role open a passion for you while you were in it? So, kind of twofold.
Sure. So I'll give some backstory to that. So no, I mean, I stumbled into that. Like I've stumbled into everything in my life. So I was working at Yale during the day, and they had hired me because I had a PhD, and they wanted a librarian to help people design research studies. So that was me. That was my day job. You show up to my office, you're like, how can I do this survey research, or how can I do this interview research? And we work on it together. So it's a cool job. But they said, if you're going to advance in law librarianship, you should really go to law school. And I said, really? Like, I mean, I already have, like, I love school.
Cool, right.
Don't get me wrong.
I can see.
I love
I see.
school, but I have 4 degrees already. So I need this 5th one. And they said, yes. So I started going to law school at night, down the street at Quinnipiac. And I wanted a clinic experience. Like while I was still in school, I wanted to work with real clients. And the night clinic was veterans. And so I thought, well, I guess I'll go and learn about veterans. But, it really changed. I have a couple of veterans in my family who mostly didn't serve during wartime, my grandpa and uncle, but it wasn't a real big story in our family. Other than my dad was born on a military base, you know, like,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, it's little touch points in our lives, but it wasn't like a big story to my family. And so, first of all, I just started learning about like how some families, it's like everybody or most people,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
Like they just sign up. It's like you're 18, you sign up to serve your country. Like this is what you do. And so I learned about those families and gained the respect I should have always
Yeah, me
had.
too.
And then I learned, I mean, things we see in movies, but hadn't again really penetrated my heart about what happens in Kabul when there's combat and what happens in other places. And I started working with these veterans who had really bad PTSD.
Yeah.
And my client load were people who had usually served in really intense combat, seen really terrible things like happen to their friends,
Right.
and then came back and maybe started drinking or using some drugs to cope with it. And the military was supposed to help them and supposed to get them into treatment and supposed to get them mental health care. And a lot of those systems didn't work. And so sometimes they got kicked out or discharged like a month or two before their term ended.
Wow.
And it wasn't honorable. Like sometimes it was just one class below or two classes below, like a general or an other than honorable. But what that last month or two of service did was like get in the way of them getting any VA healthcare.
Mm.
And so we represented them, and I did what was called a discharge upgrade petition to get someone in that circumstance, like someone who had seen combat, someone who got PTSD, and then self-medicated afterwards, to have the military look again at their whole service record and say, when you look at it all, what do you really think? And in several cases, we got them upgraded to honorable. They got all their benefits back.
Wow,
they could
amazing.
go sign up for VA doctors. They could go get in the VA like support groups. They could go, I mean, some of them, you know, could get their college scholarship money back.
Wow.
And so I had a real passion for the work. And I mean, and not everybody will agree with this, but I don't think the U.S. has enough safety nets. I think we're a wealthy country where we let a lot of people down. And that's a big debate. And I get I was a debater. I was a debater. I'm up for that debate. But one of the things I have to say is it was really nice to be able to connect people to a safety net and know that they would be better served.
Wow.
You know that I helped fix a big problem.
Yes, big problem. Yes.
Yeah.
Considering you were, how did you feel knowing that the fact you were a contributor in helping these veterans, you know, change the trajectory of their lives? And the reason why I asked is because I also had a family member who was in military. I believe he was in the Air Force, came back, and he was completely different. You know, like you mentioned, the PTSD, the mental and emotional issues that he was having. It was just different, and he ended up getting into a situation with law and ended up losing his life. And so this is probably a couple of years ago. And so going back to the point you made, how they don't have the help, they don't have the resources and that safe space to get what they need. So for you, what was their experience like knowing that I was an asset in helping these veterans get these resources?
You know, I mean, we're in a library now and you help people every day. And I think the way I felt throughout my career, I worked with youth at the beginning, I worked with master's degree students now, I worked with veterans, is like, I have met all these great people that like an obstacle was in their way. So like, it wasn't that they weren't great. It was that something was broken. Right? It's like that something was broken. And so it does feel good to like just help get the broken thing out of the way so that this person can be who they were meant to be.
Well said. Yeah. Definitely can be a lot of, when it comes to veterans, stumbling blocks, things that are in the way that hinder and prevent them from getting what they need. Like you mentioned earlier, it's not the fact that these people are bad people. They just went through traumatic and gruesome experiences, man, and it's shifted, you know, their mind and their emotions. And so the fact that you were able to be an asset in helping, I think that's wonderful because they all need it, and that's all cultures. It's all, you know, it's of a diverse thing in various families. And so that's awesome, the fact that you were able to help in that way.
Well, I mean, I got to throw it back to you. You've chosen to work in a library.
Yeah.
You show up every day and you're like, I'm going to get obstacles out of people's way.
Yeah.
Whether it's they're lonely and they need a place to go. And this especially in the wintertime, is going to be the reason they have a good week. Or they're a kid and their grandma just needs to take them somewhere constructive and great and free.
Yeah.
You know, or they have a medical question or a tax question or an eviction question, or they're interested in research or whatever it is. Like that's what you all do here.
Yeah.
You know, and so I mean, that's just what we're all doing.
Yeah. I totally agree. Being in this space, being an attorney, helping these veterans, how did this role influence your approach to justice, empathy, and public service, being in this role?
So I will say, the real work is challenging. Again, we're sitting in a library too. So some of my veterans were sexist. Some of my veterans were racist. Some of my veterans had various mental health challenges that, like, you know, in our best self, of course, we're like, well, yeah, you know, I want, but like on a hard day, when someone is like yelling at you or disappointed in you, or it's hard.
Yeah.
You know, it is hard to be professional and magnanimous. And I think that's when you realize, oh, that's what the work is. Like the work is showing up and calming myself and being a good person. Like that's the whole job. Like if I can just get through the day and be a decent person to the people I promised to serve, then like that's the job.
Yeah. There's this phrase, a quote that I've heard a lot on social media when it comes to being in certain fields of work, and it says we have to learn how to be uncomfortable and comfortable. Even though you know the work that you know, people that you've helped, it's not always easy. It's not always comfortable being in that, but it comes with it, and we have to learn how to, you know, navigate and show empathy and create those safe spaces for them. Going back, we had a guy on the show recently. He does work in helping people when it comes to conflict resolution and de-escalation. He has a whole workshop that he teaches on leadership, and he was mentioning how most of the time, the secondary emotion is anger, but there's something that overlooks that causes them to be frustrated or what case may be. And so, yeah, the work that you've done can definitely be intense, but there have been so many people that you have helped in giving them those resources.
Well, and justice is easy. You know, the things that I fought for these veterans were like mental health care and housing, and like every person deserves housing.
Yeah.
Every person deserves to have some help from society when they're in crisis. Again, we can debate this. I get it. But like that, you know, like that's how you recenter yourself, or where you find yourself in that kind of work, is you're like, well, okay, I don't have to like him, but he shouldn't be homeless.
Yeah.
Right. Like I mean, like I'm never gonna like him, but like but I want a roof over his head.
Yeah. I agree. Talk about your experience here recently working at UNT, and what has that been like for you?
So again, I'm an Ohioan. I spent 8 years in New York City, 10 in Connecticut. Like I've been all over, lived all over. So you know, now I'm in North Texas. North Texas. North Texas is a quirky place. Denton is a quirky place. UNT is a quirky place. But there's so much to love. I think, you know, some of the things that I love about UNT is we really do have a world-class faculty, like brilliant people who are doing really cool projects. One of my colleagues is working with refugees around the world to be able to preserve their documents and their stories as they're not able to stay in their homes or in their communities. We've got a team that is trying to have AI look at like sonograms and mammograms, all the grams, all the but scans, and see if we can detect things better than the human eye. We've got all sorts of faculty working with youth and kids. They've got a whole lab called multiple literacies, which is just basically like every way a kid learns and gains understanding of the world and gains skill and confidence, and they're working on those, and then my group's working on law librarianship, and so it's really great. It's really inspiring. UNT is not a rich school, so I mean, Yale Law School was in a castle, right? I mean, I've worked in a castle before, and there's not really a lot of castles at UNT, but that's okay. I don't have to have a castle. It's interesting though, being at a university that has to do a lot with a little. And has to stretch. I mean, again, we're in a public library, so like, you're like, I understand.
We do. Yeah.
Can this book also be a coaster? Like, what can we do with every object? So that's the hard part. But it's really great to be there.
Yeah. How long have you been working at UNT?
So this is my 5th year.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. In regards to collaboration and doing research projects, how do you collaborate with faculty or students when it comes to certain research projects? What does that look like?
Sometimes it comes from me, and sometimes it comes from them. So we have 100 PhD students in our department, and we don't have any law librarianship, and we don't have a lot of public librarianship. What we have a lot of right now is data science students. And our department actually split recently into information and data science as a separate department. So eventually they'll have the data science students, but we were all together. So I've been working with all these students who are interested in large language models and AI. But since they're working with me, they're like, well, we could do something in law, or like one of them does finance. And so one of them does corporate governance. And so like their projects are really wild. And I kind of join on to like be a reader, to say, okay, like to just use my logic and debating skills. Like, here's the argument that I think needs to be made, or here's what I think you're missing, or and so I help in that way. And then from my side, I lead projects that are of interest to me. So I'm really interested in how we create pipelines for people who are in like clerical, technical assistant roles in libraries to be director. Like, how do we make that path easier? So that's one of my research areas. One of my research areas is on how we help libraries figure out how much a big project's going to cost. So just things like that, those come from me. And then I'm like on the side working on like corporate governance, large language models.
That's cool. Very, very. You said something important, mentioning creating that pipeline for those who are wanting to become successful directors. I think that's very, very important, in making sure that there is some sort of strategy in place to help them get to where they need to be. And I've met so many cool directors. Of course, our executive director here, Michael Hargett. I've met other directors, Eric Richardson from Benbrook Library, who's amazing. And so I think that's very, very important, putting a map in place and helping them get to where they need to be. I think that's amazing. Yeah, that's cool. How do you see the role of law librarians evolving with changes in technology and AI? Because, I mean, as we can see, technology is steady advancing all over the world. I mean, we get so many people that come in the library that are not as tech savvy, and so we try to guide them in various ways, or partnering with Goodwill and bringing in computer skill classes that where they can better themselves and know how to use internet basics or emailing or Microsoft Word, whatever the case may be. Going back to what we said earlier, the resources. And so, Dr. Ryan, how do you think technology and AI is beneficial right now?
Yeah, so I mean, so there's a couple of different camps, right? And so we've got this group of people who's like, I just want to make a doctor's appointment, but you can't call anymore. It's all done online, and I need the My chart and all of that. And so for some of them, technology is creating barriers. Right? They just want to go see their doctor, and then they want to know about their test results, and they have to navigate it all online, and that can be really frustrating. But now you have a whole generation of students who like never has a day at school without their Chromebook, right? And so the challenge with them is a little different. It's this literacy component. So actually what I have my students doing is they'll do an assignment, and then sometimes they'll do the same assignment with AI so that we can see what AI right now is
I like
doing
that.
well and not. And so AI is really good in law at brainstorming, like, here's 14 issues you might have, which can be helpful or not helpful. Like now you think you have 14 legal issues, right? You just saw you had 3 and now you got 14. So it's really good at brainstorming, right? So, I mean, that's good for a high school student that wants to write a paper
Right.
or a law school student, but it can be misleading to people. It's not good at knowing the technical aspects of law. So, like the Supreme Court of Texas, let's take a court lower than it. An appellate court in Texas has to follow what the Supreme Court of Texas has said. Supreme Court of Texas says this is the law. A court lower than that in Texas
Right.
has to go by that. They can't make up their own understanding of the law. But they don't have to listen to what the Oklahoma Supreme Court has said. AI doesn't seem to understand that.
Yeah.
That's where we get into. And so the challenge has always been with like the public is they may find a great court case and be like, this means I win. And you're like, well, you read it right, but it's from 1974 in Kentucky. And you're in 2025 in Texas.
Yes.
So it doesn't mean you win.
True.
AI is kind of exacerbating some of that. But you asked what AI can do well. I mean, what AI can do well is analyze documents, read lots of them, and synthesize them quickly. So let's say you have a public defender and there's, 40 hours of video on this defendant. And they're not convicted yet. They're just defendant, right? Innocent until proven guilty. Yeah. And there's 40 hours of video and there's, hundreds of documents. Our hope is that AI can help people like public defenders in the future to get through all of that. Right. So I mean that's the promise and the hope.
Yeah. Well said. For me, I use a lot of chat.
Yep.
I use it. I mean, I think a lot of us in here, as far as staff, use it. But I mean, to me, it has been a help. But there also are some barriers, like you mentioned earlier, when you're typing in or researching a certain topic. It'll give you certain things that are all right, but it'll also give you things that are inaccurate,
Right.
or incomplete. And so, there's that thin line. But yeah, I think technology is definitely advancing, and we got to do the best to keep up with the times.
I'll tell you some of the ways. So I'm using Perplexity, another one of these AI things, to create images. So I wanted to give a talk, and there's this classic legal problem that we give to law students: no vehicles in the park. So the town says, hey, we're not going to have vehicles in the park. But what does that mean? Is that like an electric bike? Is that a vehicle? A semi-truck's probably a vehicle, but like what's a vehicle? And so I had Perplexity create me this image of a park with bicycles, unicycles, electric bicycles, mopeds, semis, and everything. And they're all on this one road in the park. That image doesn't exist anywhere except in this problem and in the way I've conceptualized it, right? But Perplexity did that.
Right.
We have a space at our college that we're trying to figure out what to do with it. So I had Perplexity. I'm like, well, like basically I had it make like an architectural rendering of this space and like what it would look like. And like, that's the kind of stuff I'm enjoying.
Wow. That's pretty cool. Yeah. It can do so much, man. It's definitely been helpful to us. But yeah, I'm definitely excited in what you're doing and how you're helping, the students and working at UNT and different research projects and stuff that you've done. I'm definitely excited for you and your journey.
Thank you.
As we close the show, this is one of my favorite segments of the show. What's your library joy? As me and Dr. Ryan kind of discuss, our experience with libraries. I mean, you shared a few of them. I'm pretty sure there's more, and also getting your insight on our wonderful displays in regards to our library expansion project. So just kind of share with us some other stories that you may have in regards to your experiences with library.
So I was an older mother of twins. And boy, that was overwhelming. And it was like the library where we started to like find some structure. And so those like story times, the 1-year-old story time when you're like, we we just show up and we're dressed, and then the librarians will take over and like give some structure to our day, and we'll be able to go to bed tonight saying like the kids learned something, or so yeah, those programs for kids.
Yeah.
The animals that they bring to the library,
Yes.
the stories
Yeah.
that they do, and you meet other parents and the crafts that they put out. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
I love that. Those have been my best experiences.
Wow.
I have pictures of my kids in the library.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's funny you mentioned that. That's something that we're really big on too, is growing our story time. We do every Tuesday and Saturday at 10:30. We've developed a few partnerships. One right up the road, Timberview Farmstead, and what they do, they come in and bring live animals and read a book to them. And the kids, I think here recently we had a whole turkey in the community room. They're petting it, enjoying it. Had little baby chickens that they were able to see and hold on to. So just those moments, man, of seeing the joy in our children's face, man, has definitely been cool. But also, some of the kids that I've connected to, there's this one family, Daisy and her daughter Samira. Every time they come in here, she walks around to my desk and waves and says hi. And even when they get ready to leave, she comes back and say goodbye, Mr. Willie. And that brings so much joy to me, man, because I could be having a rough day, but when she comes in, everything changes. And so, yeah, I'm definitely grateful for our story times as well too. Going back to our displays, what are some things you're excited to see from what the displays I've showed?
Oh my goodness, so many things. Okay, so I work in a librarianship program. I gotta say staff room. I bet nobody else is gonna say that, but like the librarians, like the heart of the library. I mean, all the books could go away, but if you're here, if Michael's here, if you're here, like the library still exists. And so I'm glad to see more staff room. I'm sure it'll be new and beautiful.
Right.
And just like give you that place to work and decompress. The multi-purpose room. I mean, anytime there can be a public space that is either free or low cost, where people, where charities can hold events, where parents groups can hold events. Again, libraries are neutral, so whatever kind of event you want to hold. I mean, the gun club, like whatever. Don't bring the guns, but like but whatever. Like this is a place where everyone could. So I think that multi-purpose room is going to be just excellent.
Yes.
And then I noticed the children's area.
Yes, you mentioned it. Yeah, the children's area.
So just more room for toys and classes and things like that.
Yeah.
And then we were talking about the AV.
The AV, yeah, you mentioned it at UNT, man. I never knew they had that at UNT.
Yeah, at UNT, this team that helps with our online learning has created like this booth for either making videos or podcasts, and it's got some insulation in it.
Wow.
And it's got a camera and a mic. But like lots of people do that, right?
Yes.
I mean,
that's where we are.
That's our job. Like people can, and again, library is a free place. You want your eBay stuff to be better. If you have a place where you come and do the lighting right, like that space will be so utilized.
Yes, I believe. I mean, that's the times that we're in right now. Podcasts and webinars, coaching seminars, training seminars. So yeah, I think that space will be well used.
Yes.
Well, thank you, Dr. Ryan, for being on the show today. I think we had a great conversation, very informative. Like I said earlier, I was a student. I was learning more about this library world and what it entails. But I'm definitely grateful for all the work that you've done, and I would just say keep doing it. Keep being a leader that you're called to be. So.
Thank you for having me. It's so nice to be back in your library and to spend some time with you. So thank you.
Yes. This is Ordinary Conversations with Extraordinary People. We've definitely had a great show today, great dialogue, and learn more about this library world and what it entails and how it has been beneficial to all walks of life. And so we see you guys next week right back in these orange chairs. We have a special episode next week. We see y'all. Peace.